And welcome, sports fans, to today's Roundtable. Glad you joined us, and it is a holiday edition for the Sports Roundtable today as we are wrapping up Christmas tournaments this last week, and the big one certainly to come this next week after Christmas Day, this Wednesday, beginning Thursday. The Bloomfield Christmas Tournament, the 63rd annual tournament, gets underway this week, as well as the Southeast Missouri Christmas Tournament up north in Cape Girardeau at the Show Me Center. So two big tournaments to look forward to in just under a week later on this week here in Southeast Missouri. And we're going to touch on those tournaments. We're going to have Terry McVeigh, our sports contributor, along with us here momentarily to preview the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament, look what to look forward to this year. And we'll talk with him here in just a few moments. We're also going to touch on some games the last few evenings. It's pretty big games here the last few nights in the area, and we've had quite a few broadcasts. We had 4 broadcasts this last week. I want to show you some highlights of 2 of them the last few nights, with the Dexter Malden broadcast Thursday night and the Neelyville East Carter game last night, Friday night, in Clarkton at the Clarkton Holiday Tournament Championship game. And we'll show you those replays of those broadcasts. And of course, today it's all about the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament and the preview, which we will bring all 26 games live right here on YHC, YHCTV.com, and even our Facebook and YouTube pages. So a lot to look forward to, that Bloomfield Christmas Tournament once again this year. And we'll be talking with Terry McVeigh here momentarily about that tournament this year. And let's go ahead and move on to some games from last night in the area. First, to start off with, we've got East Carter and Neelyville. East Carter with a nice victory last night to win the Clarkton Holiday Tournament Championship, and defeated 4th-seeded Neelyville 66-34. And East Carter got an impressive team this year. We don't get to see a lot of them here, and basically any of them here on YHC. Play out west out there in the Ozark Foothills Conference, and unless they play here somewhat in the Boot Hill, we just don't get to see them. And Neelyville's kind of the same way, but they've played in that Clarkton Holiday Tournament the last few years, been in the championship game, so we've seen them a few times. But yeah, East Carter getting a nice victory last night. Let's go to the highlights from that one last night.
Inside number 32 takes it, kicks it beyond the 3-point.
And we see here early on, East Carter getting out to a nice start, getting some turnovers in transition. And Levi Boyer had a big night for East Carter there, getting one off the glass. Nice step through behind the back finish for the Tigers there. And we see here a nice little baseline jumper for the Redbirds. And here Levi Boyer doing a great job stepping through with the up and under. Nice finish underneath. And here he is again. Getting a rebound, putting it back up off the glass. And we see here Golden, really nice sophomore for the Redbirds, getting a nice bucket there. And nice little runner for Neelyville in the paint there. And nice and one bucket for the Tigers. And 3-pointer in the corner, as Tigers made a decent move there in the second quarter. But as we see here, Rudd, a nice basket, and a 3-pointer. Golden knocking down that one on the left wing. And nice little runner in the paint, put back by Boyer right there around the glass. 3-point shot up on the left side, up and good. And nice little jumper here in the mid-range here at the end of the second quarter. And there's Boyer once again. Tough basket, well defended right there in the paint. And basket and the foul into the second half here. And Powell getting a basket and the foul on that one. There's Rudd again, step through with the left-hand reverse. Really nifty guard there for the Redbirds. And he had about 3 or 4 reverse layups last night. Very impressive. And 3-pointer on the right side. Golden knocking down that one again. Here we see Caden Foster, little cousin, going up for the transition bucket off the steal. And we see here Redbirds really starting to pull away here at the end of the third. But a 3-pointer there, Neelyville getting it to go. And there's Rudd again, nice reverse layup. I tell you, he's really nifty around the basket. And we see here Golden knocking down one of his 4 threes on the night. He had a great night. And a little runner here for Neelyville goes. And nice pass underneath. Finish for the Redbirds. And here basket and the foul on the rebound. And another little runner to the basket, up and good. And seeing the end here as Golden knocks down another three. And there you are, the East Carter Redbirds, champions of this year's Clarkton Holiday Tournament Championship and that tournament. And they made a great run this week. Beat some good teams, notably defeated Portageville in the semifinal round and beat them up on them pretty good, right around 30 points. So East Carter, a team to look out for. Certainly come district time, but certainly in that Ozark Foothills Conference out west. Got a very much improved team there. Coach Penn, Jordan Penn's been there the last couple of years, and he's done a great job bringing this team along. And look out for the East Carter Redbirds. They can make some noise this year come the end of the season. And take a look at some other matchups from that tournament. The third place game, South Pemiscot over Portageville, 43-32. South Pemiscot, the top seed, taking third place in this year's Clarkton Holiday Tournament. And in the consolation game, I don't have an exact score, but Piggott did defeat Clarkton in that consolation championship game, and it was a 7-point margin. Just don't know the exact score, but Piggott come away with that consolation championship in Clarkton last night. And in other games, the Campbell Christmas Tournament. In that championship game, it was Campbell over Zenith Hornersville, 70-37. And Campbell winning its own Christmas tournament once again this year over Zenith Hornersville. And in the third place game, it was Naylor over Southland, 86-76. Armorel over Zalma in the consolation championship game, 81-45. And in the seventh place game, it was Delta C7 over North Pemiscot, 79-55. And in other games from the area last night, Scott City over Greenville, 65-33. Saxony Lutheran over Perryville, 69-52. Kennet over Doniphan, 65-46. Nice victory there for the Kennet Indians. Oak Ridge over East Prairie, 68-64. Chaffee over Scott County Central, 63-52. Cape Central over Farmington, 59-49. Advance over Bloomfield in the Stouter County Conference, 67-50. Bernie over Bell City, this is going back to Thursday night. Bernie over Bell City, 84-36 in the Stouter County Conference. Dexter over Malden, a game that we brought to you live Thursday night from Malden. And it was Dexter over Malden, 70-40 decisive victory for the Dexter Bearcats, and really had a great night shooting last night, hitting, I think, upwards to 12, 13 threes in that contest Thursday night at Malden. And we got some highlights queued up here for you for that game Thursday. Let's take a look. And here early on, a nice dump down pass, look to Garrett Henson for the easy two. And Peyton Driscoll stepping into a three on the right wing, getting that to go. Jackson Allen knocking a three down of his own there in the right corner. And we see here Coy Wade stepping into a three, knocking that down. And here, nice penetration, dump off, basket for Garrett Henson and the foul. And a nice dump off here and a finish for the Green Wave. Nice high-low action here. Marquez Jones getting that one to go, basket and the foul. And here we see Carter Dorton stepping into a three on the right side, knocking that one down. Another three-pointer on the left side, up and good, and the Bearcats were hot from the three-point line the other night, and Andrew Ellinghouse knocking down that three. And we see here a nice runner. Cole Nichols had a big night, freshman for the Bearcats. He gets that basket and the foul. And here we see Green Wave trying to make it a game here in the first half, staying after it, really got after the boards. Marquez Jones staying it after there for the putback. And three-pointer Cole Nichols knocking that one down. Nichols on the drive, gets a tough basket in the paint. Nice finish for Nichols there. And Nichols stepping into another three, knocking that one down. And Cole Nichols had a great game here. And nice putback there by Ellinghouse. Peyton Driscoll here on the drive here in the fourth quarter, getting that one to go. And once again, a great showing by the Bearcats. Really shot the ball well from the outside and had up over 12, 13 threes. And Cole Nichols really showed out as a freshman, come in and played some great minutes. He had over, I think he had 22 points on the night, I believe, and had a great game. So Dexter, really good three-point shooting team. If they're on, they're going to be hard to beat. Are a little small. Garrett Henson there in the paint, pretty much the lone big post guy that they've got, but he's really valuable for that team. So look out for the Bearcats coming in this Christmas tournament. They are going to be one of the top contenders as the 3 seed coming in. We'll talk more about that coming up. And we've got Pucks go over Greenville Thursday night, 73-60. Also, we got Dora over Hayti. Hayti went over to Dora, and Dora got that victory, 83-68. Very talented Dora team, and Hayti competing quite well on the road Thursday night. And Dexter over Perryville in the girls' ranks here. Dexter over Perryville, 73-44, and Dexter getting a victory in the girls' ranks Thursday night. And if you want to watch a replay of those games that we've had over the last few nights, you can do so. The Neelyville and East Carter game will replay here on YHC today, Saturday at noon and 6:30. Also catch that Sunday afternoon at 3. And the Dexter and Malden matchup we'll have today, Saturday at 1:30, and again at 10 p.m. And we'll probably have it another time on Sunday as well. But you can watch those games on demand online. Go to our website at yhctv.com. Or even go to our Facebook and YouTube pages, available there as well. So watch those on demand online anytime. And that's the wrap for the last few nights. And we're going to take a break, and we're going to be back with Terry McVeigh, a sports contributor here at YHC, and have a preview of this upcoming Bloomfield Christmas tournament. We'll be back with that coming up.
Drive crew cab, your cost $32. At Glen Sane, we have savings all over the lot now till January the 1st. You need to come check it out. A new four-wheel drive crew cab, your cost $32,998. What a savings. Look at this, a new crew cab two-wheel drive, your cost $26,998, $400 down, $399 a month. What a savings. We have deals all over the lot. Best price, best service. Glen Sane, and God bless our troops.
If you or your loved one has disabilities that cause you to need a little help, Boot Hill Area Independent Living Services can provide the assistance you need. At Bales, we want you to have control of your life and assist you in thriving in an independent lifestyle. The Consumer Directed Services Program allows you, the consumer, to choose who assists you in conducting your daily activities. Bales serves Stoddard, Dunklin, New Madrid, and Pemiscot counties. Call or visit our office in Kennett to see how we can help you maintain your independence.
We're along with we've brought him on to talk about the Bloomfield Christmas this Thursday. Bloomfield High School Gymnasium the day after Christmas. And Terry, as always, good to have you. And Christmas is finally here.
Finally, and the day after Christmas is getting here, so we can get started with this tournament.
Sure, and sorry about that, Terry. We had it muted there for a second, but we got Terry McVeigh along with us, YC Sports contributor, and Terry, it's good to have you. And of course, and as always, Christmas is finally here, and it's just a few days away.
Yeah, I'm as always, I'm ready for this tournament to start. I think it's going to be a good.
Sure, and always enjoy each year at the Bloomfield Christmas tournament. And Terry, we'll just go over let's go over the first round games just to give people a nice preview of the first round matchups to look forward to. And first, let's start off with I get it pulled up here. Let's start off with the first round game. That's going to be Kennett and Richland. I mean, that's a 1-16 game. Not a lot of anticipation there, other than the fact to get the tournament started. But we'll certainly see Kennett and Richland get started off Thursday morning at 10 a.m. with the first game. And Kennett coming in with the 1 seed again this year. Terry, we've seen that quite a bit over the last number of years. Kennett's been at the top of this tournament, but this year bringing a more experienced group from last year, bringing back quite a few players from last year's team, and bringing more experience back to the tournament this year.
Yeah, Kennett is bringing quite a bit of experience back, but they also have, I think it's mark of just a lot of teams that have got some young players, like Ben McMullen, who's a sophomore, and he played last year, but he's already off to a good sophomore start. Mersavian Errol is a senior. Also Carter Maddox and junior Kobe Gates. And Kenneth's got a pretty good mix of youth and experience.
Yeah, they do. And boy, I tell you, what really stands out about this team, Terry, this year is their quickness. And we saw that with Malden earlier in the week, the game that we were able to do with Kennett and Malden. Boy, they got some quickness. They really get out in the open court. Laquez Pulliam really comes to mind. He gets the ball out on the break, and he's great in the open court. And we see that out of Harrell as well. And this is a team that's got some quickness that can really give teams some trouble in the tournament.
Yeah, and last night they played Donovan, and they showed some a little bit of zone pressure, zone trapping, which is a little bit different than what Coach Alford usually does, but it worked real well.
Sure. Yeah. This team, not a lot of size. They don't have a lot of size underneath to really control the boards, but a lot of quickness. It's hard to deal with. And boy, they got some three-point shooters as well. Jackson Hempfling, Ben McMullen, some other players that can they can put it up.
Can shoot the three. Harold can shoot the three. So I mean they've got some three-point shooters.
Sure. So we'll be looking forward to that first game. Kennett going to be certainly a contender in this year's tournament. And let's go to the neighboring bracket. Right under Kennett and Richland is the 8th seeded Malden Green Wave and the 9th seeded East Prairie Eagles. And that'll be the nightcap on the first day. 8 o'clock start on the first day, game number 8. And that one's typically the most competitive of the first day, of course, being the 8 versus 9. And this will be an interesting matchup, Terry. The Malden Green Wave, a much improved team coming back this year. Very young team last year, stepping up and they're still a young team, but they got some young talent. And East Prairie's kind of in the same boat as Malden was over the last couple of years, losing some key players off their team. But they are bringing back some key players from last year. But it should be a good first-round matchup between these two.
Yeah, East Prairie, like last year, they're going to rely on about 3 different players to score. It's just 3 different players, and 3 different players what it was last year. And Malden's a team that can cause some people some trouble because they are very young, and with Jones in the middle, he caused a lot of trouble. And I noticed the other night he was even shooting some threes. So with him and Lorma, they're a very young team. Young teams are nothing if not unpredictable. And Malden could be real interesting.
Sure. Yeah, the nucleus of Marquez Jones underneath stands about 6'4", really long. He's really a great asset for the Malden Green Wave underneath. And Coy Wade's a really dynamic guard. He can handle the ball pretty well, and he's really quick in the open court. And that's certainly what Malden wants to do, is get in the open court with him. He can finish in the transition. Really athletic guard in Coy Wade. And Sintez Lerma, he's kind of the do-it-all player for the Green Wave, inside and out, defend. So he's certainly a good player, a young player, a sophomore as well, along with him and Jones, that are going to be a bright future for the Green Wave. And for East Prairie, notable players that come back from last year, I know Jack Scruggs, 6'1", senior, one of the main players coming back from last year's team. I believe Thomas Cade, I don't think Thomas Cade might have been one of those players as well. A little hard looking back all the way to last year, but you got some young players, got some sophomores here in the mix that are going to be playing. But I think the way it looks here, what I recall, but Jack Scruggs, one of the main players coming back from last year's team for East Prairie.
Yeah, and I think the theme you just talked about, what you just talked about, is going to be kind of a theme for a lot of teams in this tournament, is that there are a lot of young players contributing to the teams in this tournament, and again, that makes it very interesting.
Sure. Yeah. And let's go to the next game on the bracket. Take a look here. 4th seeded Portageville versus 13th Bloomfield. And Portageville, another team that lost quite a bit of talent off last year's team, that made it out to the quarterfinal round. Bub Lance really comes to mind. The Roan kid, I was about to say Kevin, but it's his dad.
But Rome graduated.
Yeah, Roan graduated, and another big kid that he slips in my mind. But three pretty key players moving on from last year as well. Stephen Guo, nice point guard for the Bulldogs, but bringing back a couple players with some notable experience from last year's team. AJ Hicks is a big player coming back as a senior this year. Also, Drew Irby coming back for the Bulldogs. He played some valuable minutes last year. He's a junior this year. Senior AJ Hicks and Brendan Garman.
Irby made the winning basket in the sectional game last year.
Yeah.
And a really good shooter, good player.
Yeah, and Brendan Garman, junior forward at 6'3". He's going to be a workhorse for him underneath. And he got some valuable minutes last year as well in the rotation in that front court. So got some talented players there coming back for Portageville, but some young players coming up that haven't played a lot of varsity minutes over the last year. So, Irby, Hicks, and Garman are going to really have to carry the load for them with the varsity experience this year. They did struggle in the tournament this week with East Carter and South Pemiscot last night. Just at times seemed like they had difficulty scoring, but I think it's a team that, by the end of the year, they're going to probably hit their peak once they get some younger kids, some more varsity experience. But you might not see the best of Portageville this year in this Bloomfield tournament just due to the fact that they've got some younger kids playing varsity for the first time, but certainly a capable Portageville team.
Well, Hicks is one of those players, that when he really gets going, he can carry a team. So, sometimes that's all you need in a tournament. So, Portageville's going to be, again, interesting to watch this week.
Yeah, that's a team that's, at this early in the season, it's kind of hard to tell, what Portageville team's really going to, hit the floor. If Hicks and Irby, they get going offensively, they can be a scary team. But if they're a little struggling, if they're struggling offensively, that's a team that can be vulnerable. But I'm really looking forward to Portageville in this tournament and seeing what they bring back from last year. They got some talented kids, like you said, Terry. So it's going to be fun to see what they bring back. Bloomfield's.
Portageville last year had kind of a slow start to the season.
Yeah, they did.
Ended up 2 or 3 points away from going to the Final Four. So.
Right. Yeah. And Portageville historically has always been a team that does that. They don't play their best early on, and you kind of sleep on them, and then come district time, they're right there in the mix and competing for a district title, and if not winning it. So that's kind of been the mold for Portageville.
Yep.
Yeah. And matching up with Bloomfield in that first round, and this is a team that's they've had some young players starting to move up and down to the varsity level. So we're seeing some of this young nucleus. They had a really good JV team the last couple of years, so now getting to the varsity level, and kind of similar to Portageville, first time players at the varsity level, and you can see the inexperience is there, but the potential by the end of the year could be. I think Bloomfield's in that same boat. The best team we're going to see out of Bloomfield is going to be late in January and February. But young nucleus in this, not necessarily young now, but certainly new to the varsity scene for Bloomfield.
They're inexperienced, and that's one thing that a tournament like this can really help a young team, especially if they play 3 or 4 nights. If they get to play 3 or 4 nights, that's in a short period of time, that can really help a young team.
Sure. Yeah, notable players from Bloomfield coming back with some experience. Gage McNeil coming back with a little bit of experience. I think Brandon Wright as well. Lane Bader, Jameson Dodd, Parker Eaton got some pretty big minutes last year for Bloomfield. So be looking forward to Bloomfield, as the host, putting forth a good effort as well. But certainly a team that's got some new players this year with some varsity experience. And let's go to the next bracket. We've got 5th seeded Hayti versus 12th South Pemiscot. So we got a Boot Hill Conference matchup here in the first round between those two. And, this certainly two teams very familiar with each other, up and down teams. and very aggressive play. And Hayti is certainly a young team this year, but man, Haty's had some pretty good looks here early on. Terry, they played Dora within 15 the other night, and it's Haty's always one of those teams here early on. What are you going to get? And with Coach Day, I think we're going to get a pretty good effort and a pretty good performance out of the Hayti Indians this year.
Well, they got, as Hayti usually does, they have a lot of good athletes, and they have a point guard. I can't remember his name right now. It's a sophomore. That's a good basketball player.
Yeah, Trayvon Thomas.
Yeah, he handles the ball well. He can shoot. You're going to be hearing a lot about him this year and the next two. He's a very good basketball player.
Sure. And, Trayvon Thomas, we saw him last year as a freshman contribute quite a bit at the varsity level. And, I'm looking for, a step up, this year as a sophomore, certainly. So that's got to look out for. And, not a whole lot of players coming back with a lot of varsity experience, but I'm certain that Tyleek Moore is going to be a big part of the team. I think Coach Day said he might not be in the mix right now for the Bloomfield tournament, but going forward, he should be. So Tyleek Moore, I think that's up in the air whether he's going to be able to play in this tournament or not. But this is a team that can certainly create havoc defensively, and if they get things going offensively, it'll be a difficult team to match up with.
Yes, well, like Hayti usually is. And then South Penn, who did they beat last night? They beat Porterville last night?
Yeah. South Penn did.
There's a 12 seed. 12 versus 5 is always a good matchup. And I think Coach Tyre is back at South Penn, back in the boot hill after spending a lot of time down in Blytheville. And sure brings some coaching experience to the bench.
Sure. And we'll be looking forward to South Penn. Scott, it's a team that's, looks like they got pretty senior or pretty upper class laden team. Only one sophomore in the mix with Sean Kennan, but pretty experienced bunch there in South Penn, and we'll be looking forward to seeing what they can do in the first round against Hayti. And now
it's a rivalry type game, 12 versus 5, so that ought to be a good one to watch.
Yeah, certainly. The 12-5 game. Certainly being a conference game, I think we might get a more competitive game than we would otherwise with a 12-5 matchup. So that should be a good one on the first day to look forward to.
Yeah.
Second seeded Bernie versus 15th Holcomb, and the Bernie Mules getting off to a great start this year, undefeated so far in the season. Got some nice victories early on against Campbell and Neelyville. And looking real good early on. A little small this year, in the guard play, but I tell you, the capability of the three-point shots there once again this year, Terry. And Landon Zoll, Blake Hardy, Johnny Vaughn, Brent Gage. These kids can shoot the ball really well.
Well, that and they bring the Bernie system in. When Bernie always controls the ball well, shoots well. Always fundamentally sound, and even though it's a different coach, but he's been coached long. He's hardly a new coach. But he's been sitting there next to Coach Botch for years and years, and so it's still the Bernie system, and the Bernie system's going to bring a sound fundamental team to the floor.
Sure, and Coach Jason Long team, you can always expect intensity. And the Bernie Mules certainly have that. They pretty much always have, but they'll certainly have the intensity on the defensive end and certainly wanting to push the ball on the offensive end. So certainly a capable team, when it comes to, the intensity on both sides of the floor. And Andrew Gohagan certainly is a great asset for Bernie. It's standing at 6'5". He comes in, big body, and in a tournament like the Bloomfield tournament, size can be a big deal. And with him, gobbling up rebounds and defending the basket, and also getting some nice baskets right there at the glass. That can be certainly an asset for the Bernie Mules going forward in this tournament.
I think so.
Sure. And I tell you, man, I've been really impressed with these other players that stepped up. Terry, Tyler Suiters really looked good early on the games that we've seen him. Skylar Schwint doesn't put up a whole lot of points, but he does a great job handling the ball and controlling the ball, and especially on the defensive end. Just seems like Bernie's always had those teams where everyone does something really good, does it great, and it really contributes to the performance of the team. And I really like his Bernie team. They're scrappy, a little small in the guards, but they make up with it with their three-point shot, and they really get after it on defense. So I'm looking forward to see what Bernie does in this tournament.
I think it'll be real interesting. Like you said, they're going to go deep. They'll go 8 or 9 deep on the bench, and they're disciplined. They're fundamentally sound. And they have some skill. So I think Bernie's, they're seeded second. So yeah, I think they're going to be there at the end.
Sure. And Holcomb coming back with an improved team from last year. They're a young team, still young, but had quite a few young players last year. And this year, the notable players coming back. Nate Rue is a sophomore, 6-foot sophomore. He had a great freshman campaign. And Eli Morgan, the 5'9" senior, they're kind of the main guards for the Hornets. And this Dylan Bradshaw kid is a freshman coming in, the 5'10" freshman. He's looked really good early on. So, that's just more young talent for Holcomb coming up. But, look out for this Bradshaw kid. He's looked good early on. And also Eli Bader, the 5'9" senior, 5'9" junior contributor for the Holcomb Hornets. But a young team as we've seen over the last couple of years, Terry, but they do have some young talent. It's young, like we say.
Well, it's young, but they're vastly improved over last year. It's a lot of the same players from last year, but it's a vastly improved team. Of course, they have a new coach, Coach Snyder.
Yeah.
And the system is different.
Yeah, Michael Snyder, the new coach there at Holcomb, coming in as first year coach for the Holcomb Hornets, Michael Snyder. So, Holcomb, going to be an improved team. Probably going to be looking them in the consolation bracket early on, see what they can do there, which they could have a better matchup once they get over into the consolation bracket. So we'll see what happens there. Take a look at the next bracket. We've got 7th seeded Van Buren versus 10th Gideon. 7th Van Buren versus 10th Gideon. This will be one of the more competitive matchups. That'll be game number 7 on the evening at 6:30. At 6:30 between Van Buren and Gideon. So of course, the later you go in the day, the more competitive the games will be. But we'll see here Van Buren and Gideon. Gideon getting a 10 seed. That was quite the look there.
Okay, I'm driving
to the hills.
Okay,
So
all right. I got you back.
I think I lost you there for a minute.
Sure. Yeah. Now going on to Van Buren and Gideon. Terry, Gideon coming up with a 10 seed in this one. That was kind of a shocker there. But the Gideon Bulldogs, a young team coming back, bringing back a lot of their roster from last year, and will match up against Van Buren, who's looked pretty decent early on. They've gotten some nice victories over Donovan, I think, here in the last week, and that'll be one of the more competitive games of the first day, and a nice opportunity for Gideon to make some noise in that first round.
Oh, I think so. I think Gideon's going to get it again. Is vastly improved. Coach McGowan's getting his system over there, and I just got to see him one time in their tournament. But they can do a lot of things.
Yeah, the main players coming back for Gideon, Brevin Vyers, the 5'10" junior, coming back with quite a bit of experience. Gage Stover as well, 5'10" senior guard for the Bulldogs. Those are some of the main players there. Dalton Manning going to come back with quite a bit of experience. Logan Woodard. So teams that have, players that have seen quite a bit of varsity experience coming back this year, and a nice opportunity for Gideon to certainly make some noise. From being in this Bloomfield Christmas tournament as they got in a few years back to get a first-round victory over Van Buren. But, Van Buren's always one of those teams, Terry, we don't see much of here throughout the Boot Hill. but they could be hard to prepare for because of that. And a team that they had a really down year a couple years back, but have steadily come back under Coach Black there in Van Buren.
Well, they're always competitive, even though a couple of years ago, when they surprisingly didn't win a game all season, they were competitive in the 2 games they played at Bloomfield, and they always seem to be competitive. And they're off to a pretty good start this year. They're 4-1. Their only loss is to a 2-point loss to Donovan, but they beat East Carter by 9. And as you saw last night at the Clarkson Christmas tournament, East Carter's a good team.
Yeah.
And Van Buren beat them by 9. So, there's something we're going to be looking at. I think that they can be a pretty good team.
Sure. Yeah, it's they always can create fits for teams in that tournament. So we'll be looking forward to Van Buren. They're in that number 7 seed. And looking forward, we've got the 3rd-seeded Dexter Bearcats taking on the 14th-seeded Puxco Indians. Stoddard County matchup there in the first round. And Dexter, Terry, an experienced team coming back. You got some notable players coming back from last year. Andrew Ellinghouse, really nice guard for the Bearcats. Also Garrett Henson, kind of the lone big man for the Bearcats. Stands at about 6'5" or so. And, got some nice moves underneath and nice big man presence, which they're a little thin in the big man column here in Dexter. But you got some small guards. But, man, as we saw, against Mullen the other night, if they get hot, boy, they're a tough team to handle.
Those little guys can shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw that.
They can shoot and they can defend. They come up with lots of steals. They're very quick. And those guys can shoot.
Yeah, they've got Dylan Seitz, kind of their backcourt rotation. Dylan Seitz, Andrew Ellinghouse, Jackson Allen, Peyton Driscoll, Cole Nichols, a freshman, had a big night the other night. He's going to be a contributor for him. Logan Wyman came in for a bit. Carter Dorton. So I got about 6-7 guards they can bring in at any time throughout the game, and really, I think pretty much stay on pace. With any one of those 6 or 7 guards, and so that's what really stands out about the Bearcats is the guard play. And if they can get the 3-point shot to fall, they'll be a handful. But being a small team like that, depending on the 3-point shot, if they're not hitting, they can be vulnerable.
Yeah, they basically run four guard center offense. That requires a lot of ball movement and requires some good shooting. But they have the capabilities. They've had some really tough games this year, but they've been in some really good competition in the CMO conference. And I think they've also played Charleston in a conference game. And they played Jackson. I think earlier this week they played Jackson at Jackson, and Jackson just won by 2. So Dexter usually, because Dexter always plays a tough early season schedule, they come into this tournament with a losing record, but they're well deserved 3 seed. Yeah,
they certainly are. So this team to look out for. They're going to be one of the contenders in this tournament. Coach Chad Allen, first year as the boys coach, spent I think 10 years as a girls coach. Now over to the boys side, and Coach Rob Nichols, a very experienced coach as assistant. So no shortage of experience there on the sideline for the Bearcats this year, and it's a team to look out for in this tournament. It's a the 3-point shot can carry you, and if this Dexter Bearcat team has a 3-point shot going, they can certainly come away with the championship in this tournament.
Sure can.
And the Puxco Indians, that's a team that we've seen on the bottom half of the bracket for quite a few years. But you always pulling for Puxco. Hopefully they bring you a team that can get a game or so in the tournament, and get some players that are coming back little bit of experience. They are a junior and senior laden team, no underclassmen on their roster. So, maybe that experience they can come in and, maybe get a victory in this tournament this year.
I hope so. I always like the way Puxco plays.
And players coming back from last year. Bailey Zitch comes to mind, the 5'8" senior, and Matt Caldwell. I think he's off to a pretty good start. I think he's averaging around 20 a game, I believe, for Puxco and Matt Caldwell. And Coach Jim Jones there with Puxco, and hopefully they can come and put a competitive tournament together. I'd like to see Puxco do well this year.
Yeah, I would too.
And wrapping up the first round, we've got 6th-seeded Doniphan versus 11th Twin Rivers, and that's an Ozark Foothills Conference game there as well. So we got a couple conference games here in the first round. And Doniphan, we've seen them, beat some good teams and be competitive here early on. And Twin Rivers a little slow out of the gate this year, but certainly a capable Twin Rivers team. They've got some size. I tell you, Twin Rivers got one of the probably biggest rosters in the tournament. They got they got stand at 6'4" with Avery Jackson, Miller Gerke. Apologize for the name there. I got it wrong. 6'5" and with him, and those two guys, and Brandon Tompkins at 6'3", and quite a few guys. Isaac Thurman at 6'2". Got quite a few guys, well over 6 foot, and probably one of the biggest rosters you'll see in the tournament. But have struggled early on, certainly scoring. But if they pick things up, Twin Rivers could be a handful in the tournament.
Yeah, they can. And again, they always come in, with a good plan, and they always play hard, well disciplined, play defense. I haven't had a chance to see them this year, and I've seen some of the scores. It looks like there's, good days, good days and bad days, which happens a lot early in the season. Sure.
So certainly a capable team in Twin Rivers. Coach Sakeman and Broom certainly wanted to hit their stride here, starting with this Christmas tournament. And if it's anything like last year, Terry, we saw Twin Rivers really come out and shine in that tournament last year, make it all the way to the championship game.
Yeah, last year they were sure fun to watch. And they played some great games in the tournament, especially that one against Dexter, where they won on the last second shot. But they've lost a lot off that team. There's really good players that moved on.
Yeah, but Twin Rivers always consistently there in the mix in the Christmas tournament. So we'll see what happens this year with the Royals. And the Doniphan Dons, Coach Daniel Cagle doing a great job there at Doniphan, and bringing back some experience from last year. Levi Rawlings comes to mind there for
big kid in the middle, 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
Or maybe 6'4", 6'5", but he's bringing back good experience. But Doniphan has some young players. Again, I'm going to be repeating myself over and over. It seems like Doniphan has some young guys that can shoot. So even though they lost last night to Kenneth at 19, they got some young guys that can shoot and shot well last night, especially their freshmen. I made a bunch of threes in the JV game. They came out in the varsity game and hit 4 or 5. So,
is that Lowry by chance?
I believe so.
Well, Cameron Lowry's a 5'7" guard, freshman.
Yeah, number 1.
Well, we got a number 2 here. They got Tristan Bryant at number 1 at.
Well, that must be Bryant, I think.
Okay. He's a 5'9" sophomore.
Okay. Well, then the 5'7" freshman hit some threes last night too. I mean, they got some guys that can shoot. Got
some size as well. Got Ori Owen, junior at 6'6", and even Cameron Barton, a freshman at 6'4". Max Owen, a freshman at 6'2". Whether those guys are going to get some time or not, but certainly the size exists for the Dons there.
Yeah, and they've been up and down, but they've played some good competition so far this year.
Yeah, that's certainly they'll be one of the teams that's come in with quite a bit of strength of schedule coming into the Christmas tournament, which could bode well. We'll see, other than the exception of Dexter, of course. But Yeah, we'll see what happens. Donovan, an interesting team as always, and we'll be looking forward to them in the Christmas tournament as well. And Terry, that wraps up the first round. But just kind of looking ahead in the tournament, the top 4 seeds kind of stand out. When the seedings come out, you always kind of take a look at those first 4 seeds and kind of predict if they make it out to the semifinal round and what that looks like. But if Kennett matches up with Porterville in that potential semifinal, and Bernie and Dexter, that's going to be an exciting semifinal night. Notably with that Dexter-Bernie potential semifinal, I know people are going to be looking forward to that and hoping for it, because that would be certainly a huge night with Bernie and Dexter in that semifinal on the third night.
I sure will. If I was Kennett, I wouldn't be looking past the ball. I know Kennett handled the ball pretty well Tuesday night, but like we talked about Malden, they've got some guys with some skills, and the big kid in the middle of Jones, with his size advantage over the Kennett front line, and his ability, he has offensive moves and offensive ability. He can cause them a lot of trouble. So if I was Kennett, I wouldn't be looking past Donovan.
Sure.
Malden.
Yeah, they played just last week, and Malden hung tough with them for a while. It pretty much came to the fourth quarter. Kennett started getting some easier baskets, and Malden struggled to score in the fourth quarter. But I tell you, Malden can put together a fourth quarter and score consistently. There in the second half into the fourth quarter, they'll be a tough team to beat, because Jones on the boards, and with that, the athleticism of that backcourt for the Green Wave, they will be competitive.
Yeah, Malden could be a sleeper.
Yep, they could. That potential quarterfinal game there between Kennett and Malden could be a good one. They played pretty competitively last week there in Malden, so that would be a pretty good matchup for a quarterfinal round.
And I think having those, playing Kennett and Dexter right before the tournament, I think will help Malden. Because they had stretches, where they were competing well against those teams. Now they know that they can compete, and I think having those 2 games right before the tournament is an advantage for Malden.
Sure. And looking down the way here, Portageville and Hayti could match up in a quarterfinal. That's another Boot Hill Conference matchup. That I tell you, that would be an excellent quarterfinal matchup there. I think they're pretty much even at this point, Terry, the way it looks coming in.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, I know Hayti lost by 15 to Dora. Well, folks don't know Dora is a really, really good team. They're a Class 1 team, but they are the best Class 1 team in the state. And I've seen where they've beaten some highly rated out-of-state teams. So losing by 15 to Dora at Dora is nothing to be ashamed of. And that's something that'll help Hayti have playing a competitive game like that right before the tournament.
Yeah, it should be a very competitive game. And quarterfinal matchup to potentially look at is Dexter and Donovan. I think that'll be an interesting matchup there. Donovan with a little bit of size, probably a size advantage over Dexter, but Dexter, the three-point shooting, and you talked about Donovan's three-point shooting, could be certainly an intriguing matchup there for that quarterfinal.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. So you got some matchups here that are really interesting, Terry. We don't see them very often, if at all, and if not for the tournament each year. And really looking forward to this. This quarterfinal round got some very interesting matchups to look forward to, and I think the quarterfinal round will be better than we've seen on probably most tournament years.
Yeah, but this tournament always comes up with good games. Quarterfinal games in this tournament are usually good. It's always something we pretty well count on.
Yeah, but coming in, Terry, with these, you'll take a look at the main teams that are really going to contend. Kennett, Bernie, Dexter really comes to mind, and if teams like Porterville and Haytie can really get hot, they can certainly make a run. But I tell you, just looking in, it's Kennett, Bernie, Dexter that really comes to mind with really good shots to win the tournament, and that's just a toss-up between potentially, if you're just taking those three by themselves, man, it's hard to really just, there's really no team that really just kind of gives you runaway confidence in any of them.
Nobody's going to walk through this tournament.
Yeah, nobody's just running away with it, and the result is not foregone for sure. So, that always makes a better tournament when there's a little intrigue and little suspense coming in about who's going to come away with it. But I'm really looking forward to the semifinal night. Kennett Portageville could be a matchup, and then Kennett potentially Haytie, and Kennett even Malden could make things interesting. So out of the Boot Hill teams there, Kennett, Malden, Portageville, Haytie, the top part of that bracket could really make things interesting come to the semifinal and even final night.
Well, semifinal, it's going to be a Saturday night. Semifinal nights, of course, semifinals are always generally just great games. And Saturday night, the gymnasium will be packed. It's going to be a great evening.
Sure, and really looking forward to that late in the tournament as always, and should make for another great tournament once again this year, 63rd annual Bloomfield Christmas Tournament. And as always, it's a treat, and can't wait to get started. But Terry will be getting underway.
I can't either.
Yeah, Thursday morning. Kennett Richland tips it off at 10 a.m. and we'll be looking forward to another great tournament. So, Terry, anything else you'd like to share about the upcoming tournament or the season thus far?
This is always a great tournament. This is the 63rd year of it, and it's in my memory, it has always been a tournament that you look forward to. It's always well run. It's in the greatest gymnasium in the state of Missouri, and a much improved gymnasium as far as the concessions and the bathrooms, accessibility. But what makes the gymnasium so great is just the setup. That had to change. So what they did was take a great gymnasium and make it better. And I'm just really looking forward. I always look forward to it, and I'll be glad to see you on Thursday morning.
All right, we'll be ready to go, and of course, all 26 games live right here on YHC Channel 21 on your new wave cable, YHCTV.com, and our online platforms on Facebook and YouTube. So all 26 games, the marathon's upon us once again. So we'll be looking forward to it, and as always, it's a treat. And come on out to the games as well. See the improvements with the Bloomfield Gymnasium. We'll get those posted probably over today. We'll get those showing off those improvements at the Bloomfield Gymnasium. You'll certainly enjoy it and make it a lot more convenient around the gymnasium. And until Thursday, Terry, have a great Christmas. I know you're traveling. Be safe getting over there and getting back, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you Thursday morning.
All right, Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Okay. All right. Take care, Terry. And Terry helping us out this morning on the road out west, and appreciate him spending some time with us to preview the tournament this year, and really looking forward to it once again. And always a great atmosphere, great games, and it's a good time to, it seems like the Christmas tournament's always a time to congregate, seeing old friends, and sometimes you don't see them until the Bloomfield Christmas tournament each year, and just a great event all around. So we'll be looking forward to that once again starting Thursday. And it's a little different this year: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, taking off Sunday, finishing up Monday. And the last, I think, 3 years we've had it 4 days straight. But they always take a break on a Sunday, and that's the case this year: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, off Sunday, finishing up on Monday. So we'll be looking forward to that. And we're going to take a quick break and come back a little bit more about the Bloomfield tournament. You don't want to miss that, and we'll have that coming up.
At Baldwin Ford Lincoln Toyota, every new vehicle and most pre-owned vehicles come with a lifetime warranty at no cost to you. And what does that cover?
It covers the engine.
And it also covers the transmission.
And it covers the rear end. We're talking about a lifetime of protection, unlimited time, unlimited miles, at absolutely no cost to you for the entire time you own the vehicle.
So come see us at Baldwin Ford Lincoln Toyota, home of the lifetime warranty in Poplar Bluff.
It's time for the Big Finish sales event at Harry Blackwell Dodge.
And welcome back, and we want to remind you that the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament will feature something big this year. If you're a middle schooler or a high schooler and perhaps have a big idea, you got a chance to win $10,000. Not during the tournament, but going into the spring. Pay attention to this. We're going to unveil it at the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament, throughout the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament. If you've got a big idea and you're a middle schooler or a high schooler, you got a chance to win $10,000, and we'll unveil that for the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament. So you want to tune in throughout the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament here on YHC for information and the availability to have a chance at $10,000. So don't forget about that. And if you're a parent, grandparent of a middle schooler or high schooler, you need to get them in on this. Have them tune into the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament. We'll have information and the unveiling of the opportunity to win $10,000 in a couple months. So look forward to that during the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament. We'll have more for you on that. Very exciting, and we're looking forward to bringing that to you for this year's Bloomfield Christmas Tournament. And also we want to touch on the Hoop Shoot. Baldwin Automotive bringing back the Hoop Shoot for the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament this year. Chance to win $500. $500 in the Hoop Shoot this year, and very exciting. They did that last year. Got a chance to win $500. You have to win shoot a layup, a free throw, a three-pointer, and I believe a half-court shot as well for a chance to win $500. They give you about 30 seconds or so to complete all those shots for a chance to win $500. So look forward to that. Should be a great atmosphere. That'll be done on the final night at halftime, I believe. Final night at halftime, the Hoop Shoot for a chance to win $500 from Baldwin Automotive in Poplar Bluff. So look forward to that. Sign up in person. You got to sign up in person there at the tournament. As you come in, just find the table there inside the entrance. Chance to sign up, potentially be the person to shoot, participate in the Hoop Shoot for a chance to win $500 from Baldwin Automotive. So look forward to that one as well for the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament. And we're going to take one more last break, and we're going to come back and touch on the Southeast Missouri Christmas Tournament, and we'll do that quickly coming up.
It's time for the Big Finish sales event at Harry Blackwell Dodge in Dexter and Malden.
And here's the proof, like this brand new 2500 Limited was $66,015, now just $49,999.
This Jeep Compass was $24,835, now at only $17,900.
Dodge Charger was $35,904, now $27,900.
The 2019 Ram 1500, MSRP of $38,275, sale price of $28,938.
Harry Blackwell Dodge, Dexter and Malden.
And welcome back at another Christmas tournament taking place up north. That's in Cape Girardeau at the Show Me Center, also getting underway the day after Christmas. Top seeded Charleston takes on 16th Scott County Central, 8th Scott City versus 9th Kelly, 4th Jackson versus 13th Bell City, 5th Oran versus 12th Meadow Heights, 2nd Cape Central versus 15th Woodland, 7th Oak Ridge versus 10th Advance, 3rd Notre Dame versus 14th Chaffee, and 6th Delta versus 11th Leopold. So that's your Southeast Missouri Christmas Tournament to look forward to the day after Christmas as well. So plenty of basketball taking place in Southeast Missouri the day after Christmas, and we'll be looking forward to it all. Certainly the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament as we bring live to you right here on YHC. And that's going to do it for our roundtable for today, our Christmas edition of it. Certainly the Christmas tournament's coming up, Bloomfield Christmas Tournament. And hopefully you have a great Christmas. Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Be safe in your travels. Make sure everyone gets home safely. And we'll be looking forward to that Christmas tournament the day after Christmas. And we won't see you until then. So have a great Christmas. Merry Christmas to everyone, to all your friends and family. And we'll see you at the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament. Take care, everyone.